the smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithey.
Hi, this is Cole Smithey with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. It's easy to get swept up in the allure of Abbas Kiarostami's cinema of modulated emotional power.
와인 온다라. 수근 내 가게로 가라.
今日は無理だって.
Kiarostami milks contextual layers of his characters' mutable objectives out of long dramatic sequences that catch you off guard. Nothing is taken for granted. Every surface directly supports each character's inner and outer life. In one sequence, Kiarostami returns to his signature interior automobile space as semi-public, semi-private staging ground for an intimate, socially inflected exchange of culturally divergent ideas. The expatriate Iranian auteur of such gems as Taste of Cherry and Certified Copy has the beguiling ability to blend seamless exposition with subtle character revelations. Still, no filmmaker is above making errors of judgment. Kiarostami makes a big one here. A theatrically hamstrung narrative is abandoned by an ambiguous ending that leaves the audience feeling cheated rather than validated for sharing in the experience. Set in modern-day Tokyo, Like Someone in Love wants to be an indigenously Japanese social polemic about a young college girl prostitute, her abusive loose-cannon boyfriend, and a mild retired college professor who hires the girl for a night, more out of loneliness than lust. The doddering old man has gone to the trouble of making a soup native to the region of Japan where the young prostitute is from. She doesn't care. She doesn't like the soup her grandmother made for her when she was a child. She just wants to sleep. One axiom concerning minimalism states that a narrative subject needs to be richly, even over-informed, in order for the stripped-down skeletal structure to express the weight of an artist's intended thematic implications. Picasso's sketches are significant for what he purposefully left out. Bodies leap from the surface with expressive movement. Like Someone in Love weaves together thematic strands that it doesn't bother to link thematically. No good. To be fair, the film's opening sequence is beautifully composed. Two girlfriends talk in a restaurant bar owned by their businessman pimp. The camera angle is low. The influence of Kiarostami's auteur muse Yasuhiro Ozu is firmly on display. Akiko, played by Rin Takanashi, one of the film's three interchangeable protagonists, doesn't get a joke her friend tells her about two millipedes on their wedding night. Akiko is a naive girl going wherever the world takes her. Exposition seeps out. Like Japan itself, a land of cramped and crowded spaces, the social setting is excruciatingly public. No phones in the toilets, her boss informs Akiko when she attempts to take her cell phone conversation with her to the bathroom. She fights on the phone with a boyfriend who only causes her pain. Her concerned boss advises her to end it with the boy. Unlike an average stereotyped pimp, he cares about Akiko as a person, perhaps as much as a family member. The pimp-horror relationship has a father-daughter quality. Akiko's assignment for the night is to entertain Watanabe Takashi, well played by Tadashi Okuno, a famous author, translator, and retired college instructor. Night turns to day. Takashi drives Akiko to college where she has a test. From his parked car, Takashi watches Akiko's boyfriend Noriaki accost her on the stairs. Soon, Noriaki is seated inside the elderly Takashi's car, asking the man he believes to be Akiko's benevolent grandfather for permission to marry Akiko. Takashi advises against it. The unpredictable Noriaki remains contrite, but his flashpoint temper will return. Third act failure is not what you'd expect from Abbas Kiarostami. Unfortunately, the literal window that shatters to announce the film's climax arrives without a necessary crisis decision that would finally reveal the story's protagonist and deliver its characters and audience to a catharsis worthy of the drama that has come before. I give this disappointing foreign drama a C-.
I miss you guys. Just a couple more sites and I'll be on my way home. I love you.
Marissa Tomei's best effort in a thankless supporting role does nothing to elevate this marginal thriller by Canadian writer-director Ruba Nada.
Muna's gone missing in Damascus. When was the last time you spoke to her? 6 days now. 6 days.
Tomei turns in some polished character work as Fatima, an Arab ex-fiancée of Abid, a former Syrian military intelligence officer. For the first time in 30 years, Abid, poorly acted by Alexander Siddig, makes a sojourn back to his Middle East stamping grounds after his photographer daughter Muna goes missing in Damascus. Plot holes open up like mold on old fruit.
What can I help you with today?
My daughter's gone missing, Edith. You should have informed us of this sooner. Frankly, I didn't think you'd be able to do very much.
Abid makes the rounds to the Canadian consulate where a doughy Joshua Jackson plays a diplomat who knows more than he's telling about Muna's disappearance. An insipid musical score pounds every melodramatic cue. Inescapable says nothing about the current state of the Middle East. Like anywhere else in the world, it's a place where you can find plenty of trouble if you're so inclined. It doesn't help matters that the film was shot in South Africa. To call Inescapable a B movie would be a compliment. This disposable flick doesn't deserve to be shown on television. I give this truly awful thriller a D. My sleeper pick is The Gatekeepers, and my guilty pleasure pick is Stand Up Guys. My must-have DVDs are On the Waterfront and The Kid with a Bike, both from the Criterion Collection. The Perks of Being a Wallflower from Summit Entertainment. Walter Hill's vibrant 1979 adaptation of Saul Urich's 1965 novel, based loosely on an ancient Greek story called Anabasis, is a classic cinematic record of New York City circa 1979.
We ain't even been to the Bronx before. No sweat.
The film's hip nighttime opening sequence compares Coney Island's landmark neo-lit Wonder Wheel to the lights of an approaching graffiti-covered subway train. Clips of expositional dialogue by the Coney Island gang referenced in the film's title are intercut with a front car view of a subway train penetrating its stations. Excitement builds under pulsing music orchestrated to allow for the intermittent segments of conversation. Brilliant. Other gangs of uniquely uniformed urban soldiers arrive at subway stations to travel to Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx, where a public assembly of unarmed gang delegates from New York's boroughs gathers for a midnight conference. Cyrus, played by Roger Hill, the president of the biggest gang in the city, the Riffs, speaks to the crowded congregation of young thugs. On the underground stage of political theater, Cyrus calls for a truce between all of New York City's gangs. Cyrus proposes consolidating New York's 60,000 gang members into one unified gang capable of ruling a city overseen by a mere 20,000 police officers. As in American politics, unifiers are not really desired. The truce is cut short by a gang agitator's pistol when Luther, played by David Patrick Kelly, the leader of the Rogues, shoots Cyrus dead before framing a member of the Warriors as the shooter. Dressed in their burgundy American Indian-styled pleather vests, the Warriors become an easily recognizable target for every other gang in New York, cops included. An African-American female radio DJ, played by Lynn Thigpen, announces a hit on the Warriors as demanded by the leader of the Riffs. The filmmaker only shows the DJ's lips in relation to the microphone. Style and tone blend into actionable energy. Picking up on the wake of S.E. Hinton's idealized fantasy novel of 60s-era American gang culture, The Outsiders, The Warriors takes a less censored stance in equating the ostensibly heroic Warriors gang with their weakest links. When Swan, memorably played by Michael Beck, steps up to lead his team back to Coney as war chief, Ajax, played by James Remar, takes umbrage. The gang splits up. Easily distracted by the promise of sexual conquest, Ajax learns the hard way how not to treat a lady seated on a park bench when he tries to rape an undercover cop. The Warriors' herd gets thinned. New York City police contribute to the gang's lessening number when a cop shoves a warrior onto the subway tracks in the path of an oncoming train. Gritty and peppered with the us against them lingo of the era, The Warriors is a cult movie that pushes its cartoonish elements into a desperate realm where fantasy melts away in a wash of brutal reality. Thanks for watching, and visit ColeSmithy.com for more.